All right, guys, welcome back. Before we get into the video, I wanted to say thank you to a new channel member from over the weekend, Dustin Stahl, coming through with a Tier 1 membership. Dustin, glad you enjoy the videos enough to make yourself a channel member. Really, really appreciate that. Now let's switch over the boards real quick and talk about the big news that came out today. In the world of, I guess, dirt racing, but also in the world of NASCAR, I guess you could say. I never really thought I'd be talking much about NASCAR here on this channel, but the big news coming out today from Jeff Gluck and the New York Times is that Joe Gibbs Racing is allowing his NASCAR drivers to race on the dirt. I don't know if once again is the right thing to say, but he's going to allow them to race on the dirt, which means that Christopher Bell is going to be making his return to dirt racing here very soon. Now, when is that going to be? We don't exactly know. I think this announcement kind of caught Christopher Bell off guard. I don't think he really knew that it was coming until probably a week or two ago, whenever, Joe Gibbs had a team meeting or something and told them, hey, this is the deal. And so probably caught him off guard. I'm sure he was maybe like slouched back in his seat, like, oh, another meeting. And then all of a sudden, bam, oh, dirt. Okay, I'm back. What's going on, Joe? So I'm sure this was a big deal for Christopher Bell. He has not raced a sprint car since 2022. So it's been over 2 years. He did that at the Port Royal Speedway. I want to say it was during PA Speed Week. It was on June 29th of 2022, and no midget races since then as well. He ran the Chili Bowl that year. He won his prelim night, and then in the feature, if you recall, he got upside down trying to chase down the leader. I want to say it was Tanner Thorson. Maybe it was Kyle Larson. I can't remember, but he was running down the leader in the feature and flipped over in a huge way, and then we did not see him back in the midget. And in the sprint car that year, he ran maybe 10 to 15 times, but ever since then, we have not seen him. So this is awesome news. Christopher Bell obviously is a fan favorite. People love him, especially he came from dirt racing and made it all the way to NASCAR without bringing all the checkbook and all that stuff, right? He's the real deal. I mean, I've known Christopher for a long time. Used to race against him on R Factor. He's picked me up at the airport at the Chili Bowl before, and we've been good friends for a long time. Now he's made it to the big time. Don't get to hear from him too often, but every now and again we get a text from him, and he says we're doing a good job, and it's just awesome. I cannot wait to see him back at the dirt track next year. Wouldn't it be something if Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson ran the midweek money series next year with High Limit? That would be can't miss television each and every night. But like I said, I mean, he seemed extremely surprised, at least in the article, some of the things that he was quoted as saying. He just kind of seemed like he was caught off guard by this whole thing happening. One of the things he did say is it's refreshing knowing I'll be able to do whatever I want to do. And then later he goes on to say, see everybody at a dirt track soon. So don't exactly get all the details there as to when his first race is going to be. Like I said, this is probably pretty new information for him. So I'm sure he's looking over the schedules and maybe making some calls, shooting some texts, all that kind of stuff as when he can try and make some of the races, whether it's on the High Limit schedule. The Outlaw schedule isn't out yet. We think it's going to come out this week sometime. But yeah, Christopher Bell, I'm sure he's going to be trying to take full advantage of this opportunity to race on the dirt. I'm curious to see if it's kind of like the Kyle Larson deal where he's able to run basically as much as he wants throughout the regular season. But then when it comes to the playoff time in NASCAR, he probably has to tone it back down, which if that's the case, then I mean, at least we get him back, right? I mean, you cannot complain that he can't race during the playoffs. At least we get him back for the regular season. And so that's really fun. Now, when he says we'll see everybody at a dirt track soon, a lot of people were commenting on the tweet saying, hey, well, the Chili Bowl, which to me, do NASCAR fans know that there's other races outside of the Chili Bowl on dirt? It doesn't seem like it. But it did say in the article there are no plans right now to run the Chili Bowl later on this year, or I guess next year. So we'll have to wait and see if that changes. But I'm sure he could put something together really easily, either with Chad Boat or Keith Coons or whoever it is, and find a ride and put it together. But as of right now, Christopher Bell will not be at the Chili Bowl. So another thing I have on here, with the addition of Chase Briscoe, I think this kind of helped a little bit with the decision-making from Joe Gibbs. But the one thing that definitely helped was Ty Gibbs, his grandson, if I'm not mistaken. He's now interested in racing on dirt as well. So I believe if Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe went into a meeting with Joe Gibbs and said, hey, Joe, what do you think about us racing on dirt? I don't think he would be as keen to it as if his grandson came in and said, hey, Joe, Grandpa, I would love to race on dirt. What do you think about making that happen? And while you're at it, let my teammates do it too. What do you say, Grandpa? I think he's going to, listen to his grandson a little bit more than his two drivers, right? So I think that Ty Gibbs definitely played a big, big role in this, but also Briscoe. I mean, that would mean that 3 of the 4 drivers racing at Joe Gibbs Racing are interested in dirt racing. And what's another cool thing is that, Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe have a long history together of racing together on the dirt. Not Larson, but Bell actually got a top 10 driving one of Chase Briscoe's sprint cars with the Outlaws one time at the Lawrenceburg Speedway. They ran a couple of times together, had pretty good success. And so for them to now be teammates in Cup, I don't know, maybe we'll see. Briscoe fielded a car this year with Carter Sarf behind the wheel, ran with High Limit. The Outlaws ran with Moa, got a win with Moa. So maybe Briscoe puts Bell in his sprint car. I don't know. Bell's got his own sprint cars as well. So definitely an interesting thing to tie in there as well. What else we got on here? When will his first race be? That is the question that everybody's asking right now. My question is, when is it the first time we get to see Larson versus Bell again? Because, man, did they have some unbelievable battles, even outside the Chili Bowl. I remember one race, at Lawrenceburg one time with the Outlaws between Bell and Larson, and they ran into each other, crashed, racing for the lead. It was an unbelievable race, and then, things went sideways on the Bell side of things. But, I think Larson versus Bell is going to be, people are going to be buying tickets and watching on Flow or Dirt Vision, whatever it is, as much as they can to catch a piece of that. So that is something that a lot of people are looking forward to. Kyle Larson has been quoted as saying in years past that he thinks Christopher Bell is better than him. We have not been able to see that outside of NASCAR for the last 2 years. And so we'll have to wait and see what goes on there. But, will Bell come back and just jump right into an outlaw race? Will he come back and jump right into a high limit race? I don't know. I think he wants to race against the best competition, but maybe he races a few times, maybe in Ohio or something like that to try and, get back accustomed to it. We've seen him do things where he hasn't been in a dirt car in a while and gets in and is able to compete right away. So maybe he won't do that. Maybe he'll just jump right back in with the big guns. I hope that's the case because we want to see him with High Limit as much as we can. And so we'll have to wait and see what his schedule looks like. Now, I wanted to show these stats at the bottom of the board as well. In very limited starts against the Outlaws and the All-Stars in his career, and when I say limited, he hasn't even had, right around 100 starts, 101 if my math is right, which usually it isn't, but right around 100 career starts between those two series. 57 with the Outlaws. He has 5 wins, 13 top 5s, and 24 top 10s. He won those 5 races with 4 different car owners. So he's been able to win with multiple car owners, the Fox 53, the Coons 67, the Tony Stewart 14, and his own 21 car were those 4 car owners. Now, when it comes to the All-Star side of things, 7 wins in 44 starts, 16 top 5s, 23 top 10s, and he won those 7 races with 3 different car owners. One of them was the Speed Lab car. One was the Ed Neumeister 11N, and I cannot remember the other one off the top of my head right now. But very, very limited starts between those 2 series, and he has almost a 50% of the time top 10 success rate and able to win 12 races between the 2 of those. So he is very, very good. I think people forget how good Christopher Bell was in the sprint car. And it's impressive to look at these numbers and realize, man, this guy barely even got enough starts at the highest levels. And then he was off to NASCAR and doing all that stuff and not able to race very much on this side of things. So really, really looking forward to seeing how this goes. Looking forward to seeing Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson battle it out along with all the rest of the dirt racing guys. So, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. I want to hear what you guys have to think about this. Are you excited for Christopher Bell? I don't see why you wouldn't. Where do you think his first race is going to be? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, if you're going to be checking out, I'm going to be thanking all of our channel members real quick here. Whenever we get a new channel member, we like to thank everybody else that's a channel member. That's one of the things we do a lot here on the Rodman Rundown. This is actually our 25th channel member, Dustin Stahl, with that Tier 1 membership. But thank you to our other members as well. We got Blake Dowell, Racing Vagabond, Easy Does It, Skyke, Skaloner, Brent Bear, Jay Strasser, Ed Minus, also Ryan Farnsley, John O'Neill, DeReal Snipey, Matt Parsons, Caleb Johnson, Ryan Showalter, Cedric Ritchie, Christopher Thacker. We also got Bill Gillis, Nate Trewin, Bill Cinnamon, Kurt Brooks, Jay Hotlaps, Brad Reynolds, Greg Holcomb, and Zemco Racing 1Z. Thank you all so very much for your continued support of the Rodman Rundown. And thank you all. If you're not a channel member, all the subscribers, all the viewers, I appreciate you as well. You guys make this a whole lot of fun to do each and every day. And we'll talk to you guys again here soon on the channel.